Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Last night, overnight, we saw the 1.11 update go live in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. And it included a ton of different patch notes. We went over all those in a video last night. They included a bunch of new bug fixes for all the modes, basically. It was a pretty productive update. However, while the update itself brought a lot of good news to the game, the bad news is that the update didn't talk about all of the updates that actually came to the game. Yes, we have even more stealth changes, sort of my own secret patch notes, if you will, that I've gone through and, written down here because I've found a lot of different things that were added to the game or updated in game that there was no mention of back with the patch notes themselves. So starting first here, you might notice that a lot of your weapons are now no longer max level if you had them max level before this update. Now it seems like this number is different for basically every single player. I myself only had about 6 weapons that were not maxed out after this update. And I mean, I've had every single gun in the game maxed out since like the second week of MW2 being out, right? So this definitely was an intentional change with this update because they actually went through and added more unlockable attachments to a handful of different weapons. Now, I'm sure you've noticed as you've been building out various different class setups or loadouts, either in MW2 Multiplayer or in Warzone or DMZ, that some random attachments are just locked. Like there is, I think it's called the Raptor scope for one of the snipers that has like the view, the target distance finder, whatever you want to call it there. And that's been locked. For what it's worth, that one is still locked. It wasn't fixed with this update. So I imagine this is going to be a routine thing with random patches. But there were a bunch of different weapons that, previously were level 22 out of 22. Now they're 22 out of 23 because they added an extra attachment. So this is important because if you're someone who likes to capitalize on weapon tuning, your weapon does have to be maxed out. So you'll have to go through and make sure you do max out these weapons yet again. Just a heads up for a few weapons to look at. These are the ones that ended up not being max level for me. The SO14, this actually increased by 1 level, and you can now unlock the Model 1957 stock. The Hurricane was no longer max level for me, and you get the X10 Black Kite muzzle for that. The Bryson 800 needs 1 more level now for the Mac 8 Frostbite muzzle. The EBR14 needed 1 more level for me for the FSS Spider rear grip. The MCPR 300 needed 1 more level for the FSS Merc stock. Then also the SPX 80 needed 1 more level for me for the Max DMR Precision stock. Like I said, that was just me. I've already talked to some of my friends that I'm playing with like every single night, and they said they had some different weapons that were not fully leveled up. Like some people didn't have the Vaznev done now. Also, some people lost more than 1 level. Like it went back to 17 out of 20 instead of 19 out of 20. Not exactly sure what all was going on with that. I feel like that is a pretty big update to not include in the patch notes, but just a heads up, there are now additional levels on several weapons, so you might want to go through your armory and through your gunsmith and just check out each category to see if you now need to re-level up any weapons by a couple levels so that you can, again, unlock that weapon tuning, but also unlock those other attachments, most of which are those universal ones, which obviously can be very, very helpful. But at the same time, as I said, there's not every single attachment unlocked still. Like for instance, that scope for, I think it's supposed to be unlocked by the Victus, the Raptor scope or whatever, that's still broken for me. There's other attachments, other stocks, other muzzles that are still showing up as locked for me. So hopefully that gets sorted out here in the future. But yeah, new levels and new attachments were added with the update last night. Another change that was added that seemingly was not addressed in the patch notes is a slight notification for when streaks are up on the enemy team. I actually saw this in a post over on Reddit when the update first came out. This player was in a game on Shoot House, and apparently the enemy team dropped an AC-130, and it actually was showing as a notification on screen that the enemies had that AC-130. Now, I'm not sure if this is something that's going to appear every single time as you're playing a game out and the enemies might drop a streak like this. For what it's worth, when I was playing last night to level up those weapons that I mentioned, there were VTOLs coming in, there were some other higher streaks coming in, but I never got any on-screen notifications. I also never saw an AC-130 though, so that could potentially be one of the few exclusive streaks that now has this on-screen mention. Perhaps though, this also might only show up if, let's say, you were to join into a game in progress and that enemy team were to have an AC-130 above, so that you're not loading in and suddenly there's an AC-130 shooting down on you and you had no idea of that. But it does seem like that notification on screen for some of those higher tier streaks is a brand new feature as well. By the way, as we are going through all this today, I just want to remind you guys that we are getting closer and closer to 900,000 subscribers. We're now less than 10,000 away. So if you're new to the channel, if you're part of the 60% of viewers watching who have not already subscribed, Every day I got you covered with news, updates, class setups, tips, the whole nine when it comes to MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. I'd love to see us hit 900K before the end of the month. That would be absolutely insane. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on the video itself. Share it around. Make sure that people are informed of these secret changes, these secret patch notes that were not mentioned before. Let's try and aim for 3,000 likes on this one. Anyways, moving on, some other additional changes that were not mentioned here. They actually added the CDL rule set back into private match now, so you can go through and do scrims. If you're a competitive player, you'll have the ability to see the bans and the restrictions and stuff for that. However, what they fixed here was the ability to see all of the in-game content with all of the calling cards, all the emblems, all the unreleased blueprints as well. You could basically glitch those into your account and use those like Activision calling cards or unreleased calling cards or the new emblems and stuff like that. Also, you could see, as I mentioned, all the new blueprints coming to the game as well. So they did take out the ability to see all of that and added back in the CDL rule set. So that's now live again in private matches. Now, something that was mentioned in the patch notes is that they fixed the battle pass timer not appearing. What they didn't mention is when exactly the battle pass was going to expire, so I figured I would clear that up. I've seen a lot of questions, surprisingly, about when this battle pass will end, and we now have a confirmed date according to the battle pass countdown timer, which, just a heads up, just to preface, it is not completely set in stone. The battle pass countdown timer in the past between MW 2019, Cold War, and Vanguard has been extended a couple of times for various different delay issues, so it's not 100% confirmed, but as of right now, the current end date for season 1 and the season 1 battle pass is going to be the end of January, and actually season 2 in theory should be starting on February 1st. So start of February, we should see the brand new season and all the new updates there. Of course, though, before that, that's still a ways out. We do have season 1 reloaded coming up in the middle of December. We'll see plenty of updates in between then and now. Then the final secret change that I was able to find, which, by the way, if there's more that I did not talk about in this video, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You know, use the comment section as sort of a public service announcement of other secret changes that were added in, so we can have our full list of secret patch notes. But in DMZ, they actually just made the M13 a whole lot harder to unlock if you haven't yet, because the radiation zone where the chemist now spawns actually has a DDoS available in it, or a DDoS always active in it, so you can't drive vehicles into that zone anymore. It disables them automatically. Previously, a super easy way to get the M13 was to just hop in a car, drive into the radiation zone, and run over the chemist. It'd be a one-shot kill rather than having to fight him and all the various bots that have all the increased health. Now, though, you can't drive into the radiation zone. Your car gets disabled, so you do have to get out on foot and actually attack all the AI bots and actually attack the chemist, kill him with his increased armor, and get that M13 and extract that way. So definitely made that challenge a bit more difficult. Also, though, I think they knew what they were doing there. Clearly, they didn't want people just cheesing the M13 by using a car for an instant one-hit kill. That said, pre-season 1, they said there was going to be an unlock challenge for the M13, which obviously is DMZ. They also said there was going to be a store bundle for it, so you could just buy it outright. But that store bundle is still MIA, which is kind of surprising to me because it seems like a lot of players are very annoyed by having to play DMZ and do this one specific challenge for the M13. I feel like they would be making a ton of money by just dropping that bundle, but maybe they're just trying to force players to play DMZ, and that's why they're holding off on that store bundle. But yeah, unlocking that did just become a little bit more difficult. Also, not necessarily a secret change from last night's update, but this update did officially add in the ability to support a team for the World Cup going on right now. If you go down to the bottom of the COD HQ here, you actually have the option to look at the Modern Warfare FC, and you can actually vote on which team you think is going to win any of the matches. This goes on for today, tomorrow, all the way through the 2nd, I believe. And if you end up choosing the right result, if you pick the right team, you get that country calling card, you get a new war track, and you also get 10,000 XP, so not too bad. Also, if you end up predicting 2 matches correctly, you get a new blueprint, and if you predict 4 matches correctly, you get an additional blueprint as well. So if you're very good at guessing this stuff, you get some pretty cool rewards. But those are effectively the secret patch notes of the new update in MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. And that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. It does really help the channel grow. And if you are new here, or if you have not already subscribed, every single day I got you covered with the latest news, updates, loadouts, tips, everything going on between MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ is right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. And as always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products, and the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.